everybody, welcome to the Stamp Anything YouTube channel. I'm Kevin and today we're going to be using Malik Happy Kwanzaa, the digital image, and we're going to be creating this cute card here. So we're going to be using Ohuhu markers, and we're going to start off with our skin tone, and we're using our darker color first, which is our E170. For this project and for his skin tone, we're going to be using E170, YR148, E110, and YR209. We're going to be coloring his skin on his face as well as his neck, arm, and hand. Because there's so little skin showing in the rest of the image, I've decided that it's just easy to go ahead and color all of it at once, where normally I would just color the face and do that first, then move on to the neck, hands, arm. But because there is so little space actually showing in the neck and in the arm and in the hand, I thought, you know what, I might as well go color it all at once. So with skin tone, I like to start off with my deeper tones towards the top and then gradually go lighter, as well as make sure I kind of have a highlight spot in my skin tone. So in the arm, you can see on the outside of the hand, I'm going to be keeping that lighter. The inside of the arm closest to a shirt, I'm going to keep that lighter. I am going to here use the E110 to go around the eye and create that eye shape. And then I'm going to fill in gradually with my lighter colors and then move back up into my darker colors to deepen that skin tone. So you can see I'm kind of just creating my very light base just to get the paper saturated with the color and to find my placement of where I want the depth to be. So then I go back in and up again with that E170 and then move into the YR148 to give it a little bit more blending throughout his face. Next up is the hair, where we're going to be using YR92, YR95, and a black pen just to create a little bit of additional detail in the sides. So as you can see, I just started off with YR92, and I just kind of did little squiggles and stuff like that just on either side of the hair just to give it texture, and then I went back in with the YR95 and did the same thing. Then at the end, I just go in with that artist pen and just little squiggle lines just to add little bits of texture that it's a little hard to see on the video here, but it looks really good when you do it in person. Next, we're going to be coloring up the Kinara, which is the candle holder. And the Kinara, we're using Y270 and Y230 to color in the base and the main parts of the Kinara, just to have a little bit of light and darkness in there. Then the middle of the Kinara, we're going to be using a Y6 and a Y3. So I'm using the Y6 here at the top, and then I'm going to go back in and use the Y3 just at the bottom parts of those triangles. And I'm not trying to get them to blend or anything like that. I wanted the colors separate. So there we have the base of the Kinara. So now we're going to do the candles. The candles are R8, R2, CG080, CG041, GY43, and GY42. So I'm starting with the darker colors at the base of the candle, and then I'm working up into my lights. And with the Kinara, the candles that are held are 3 red, 1 black, and then 3 green. So you can see that I've started with my R8 at the bottom, moved into my R2, my CG080 at the bottom, moving into my CG041, and then finally my greens, which is the GY43 into the GY42. So now for the flames, we're using Y5, Y4, and Y1, and I'm just adding a little bit of dot right to the bottom, then to the middle, and then finally at the top with that Y1 and doing a quick little blend. Next, we're going to do the shirt base, which we're going to be using P4, V060, V230. So I'm starting with the P4 at the base, and I'm using that around the bottom of his shirt, into the shoulder of his shirt, and then into the pocket here as well. And I'm also adding a little bit of depth around where that Kinara is, just so it's a little bit deeper and darker underneath where he'd be holding it, and there'd be a little bit more shadow. Then we're going to move into the V060, and then that is our mid-tone color that I'm kind of placing into the middle of his shirt. And then we end up with the V230 at the end, adding that lightness, and then I'm going to go over and kind of make sure all the colors are nice and blended together, and making sure to get in between those candles, which is a little tricky. It's a little tight spot there, but you have to just use, I'm going to say, patience and precision. So I'm just deepening up the shirt here with that P4, and then back in with my V060. Getting in all those tiny little spots. And then again, back in with that V230 just to add that little bit of highlight color back in. Next up, we're going to do his pants, which are NG09, NG06, and NG03. And I start again with the darker color at the bottom, which is the NG09, working into the NG06, and then ending up with NG03. And again, it's just kind of my base layer here, and then I'm going to go back in with my darker color. And the video didn't pick it up too well, but there is more variation in the tone of his pants than what is shown. His shoes, they're pretty easy. They're just CG5 and CG3, starting with a CG5 at the bottom, moving into the CG3 at the top. Next, we're going to be doing the accent colors, and those go through his shirt and his pants. So his accent colors are YR3, YR4, YR3, Y4, G8, G120, R7, R5, PB8, and PB7. And I'm using the YR3 and Y4 in the middle of the shirt, and I'm using the G8 and the G120 to do the stripes on his shirt. So all the stripes are colored in with the G8 and the G120. Next, I'm going to do the triangular parts in the pants and in the shirt, and I'm using the R7 on the bottom triangles, and then I go in and with the R5 on the top triangles. So I went and did that on the pants, and then I went and did it on the arm, and again, you've got to go right in between and get in between those little candles there. Then around the orange part of his shirt, I'm using the PB8 and the PB7 just in an alternating color pattern. Next, we're going to color his kufi, which is his hat, and I'm using V060 and V260, which were the colors from his shirt, excluding the darkest purple color. So I just wanted to use these colors just to tie in with his shirt a little bit. And then we're also going to be using the G8, G120, PB8, PB7, R7, R5, YR3, and Y4, which matches the accent colors from his shirt and his pants, just so his whole outfit is uniform. So what I've done here is in the little stripes, I've gone ahead and I've used the YR3 at the bottom and then just gone over the top of the stripe with the YR4 just for a slight blend. Then I'm going in with the R7 down those stripe lines, and I'm keeping the R7 towards the bottom, and then I'm going to go right above it with the R5. So it's a little tight space, but we're just doing a little two-color blend in each of the little spaces here. Next, we're using the PB8 and then the PB7, and again, we're going to be doing the bottom part a little darker than the top, and I've alternated in my lines here just to give a little bit more interest. In the sides, in the vertical stripes, we're using the G8 blended into the G120. And then finally, we're going to go back into the top of the hat or his kufi, and we're using that V060 and then the V260 to blend it in and get it to all match up nicely together. I have to say, I think this is a super cute image, and it's awesome to be able to use so many colors and give him a really colorful outfit. And here he is, all colored up. So next, we're going to create a card base, and I used the Tattered Strips stencil, and I used a red, a black, and a green Distress Oxide, and I just lightly applied it to my stencil, and I wanted to leave a little bit of white behind there too. other than just what the tattered strip stencil leaves. So I didn't go too hard with my colors here and tried to keep it a little bit of a lighter blend. And I always love the reveal stage of these stencils because it just looks so fun and cute. And with these, I did choose the red, black, and green because they match the color of the candles. So I just created a little black base and then put them up with pop dots, and then I cut out my letters Happy Kwanzaa and put them on my card. Super easy peasy all together. And here he is, Happy Kwanzaa, my little Malik card using our digital image. Thank you everybody for coloring along with me if you did and making this card. I hope to see you next time.